As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Srinivas Reddy, Managing Director of MTAR Technologies Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, and hello and good morning to everyone. Today on the call, I'm joined by Mr. Sudipto Bhattacharya, our CFO, Mrs. Srilekha, Senior Manager, Strategy and Operations, and Orient Capital, Investor Relations Partners. We have uploaded all the investor deck, press release, and the results highlights on the stock exchanges and company website. I hope everybody had an opportunity to go through the same. Further, to give an important update, is a change in our CFO, Mr. Gunneswara Rao, a seasoned professional with nearly 23 years of experience across finance sector and also involved in strategic planning and various other aspects of finance. Will be joining the company on 8th of November. And our present CFO, Mr. Sudipto Bhattacharya, will move on to the advisory role to plan a smooth transition and also take the mentor role and being an advisor to the company. The transition of duties and responsibilities, as I mentioned, are very well planned, and there will be a smooth transition with Sudipto being part of the company. We are confident that Gunneswara, our new CFO, will be able to step into his shoes and manage the roles and responsibilities. So moving on to the quarter Q2, we had a very good growth in this particular quarter, clocking a revenue of 91.3 crores, with PAT at close to about 19 crores, with a 37% increase in PAT quarter-on-quarter basis, year-on-year basis. And further to this, the order book also has strengthened to the extent of 535 crores as of September 30th, which is a very good indication of what we had already mentioned earlier. Most of the orders from space, defense, and nuclear, we're expecting them to move and orders to flow in the quarters in Q3 and Q4 as well. And by the end of the year, we're expecting a very strong order book. Further, I would like to mention that in the area of clean energy, recently we have been intimated by Bloom Energy that we need to, in fact, add an additional line and be prepared for after 1 year to be prepared to cater to the additional 500 megawatts order that they have received from SK Group in Korea for the SOFC units. That translates to almost 10,000 boxes to be supplied over the next 3 years. That's a very good news for the company. This is in addition to the normal growth number of 25 to 30% year-on-year basis, which we cater to Bloom on a regular basis on the SOFC side. Further, we are also involved in progressing very well in the hydrogen and electrolyzer products which we have developed, and we are expecting such ramp-up to happen in these sectors also in the next year, similar to what we have seen right now. The other products that, as I mentioned earlier, which we are working on is the roller screws, which already Space has approved it, and they are going to release the trial order, which is a 100% import substitute, and that's something which we are really proud of. And in the case of defense, there is an additional work of coating that we need, which is called as molybdenum coating, which we are working with the defense, and that qualification of roller screws for defense also should be done in this quarter itself. Further, as I did mention about electromechanical actuators, which is a good upside for the company as a product, we have already received the trial order from defense for 1.3 crores, and in this electromechanical actuators, we'll be using our own roller screws to supply to defense instead of importing it. We have a very good progress as far as the sheet metal fabrication facility at Adipatra is concerned. Should be ready by end of this year, and also the specialized application should be ready a quarter later, probably by June of next year. Further to this, we would like to mention that we have received all the certifications what we had mentioned before, especially the NATCAP, which is very crucial for the aerospace business, which is a very tough certification to receive. And I would like to mention that we also received the National Level Champion Award from Society of Indian Defence Manufacturers from the Defence Minister recently for the import substitution for mission critical parts, systems and subsystems for ball screws under medium category. With this, I hand over the call to Sudipta Bhattacharya to take you through the operational and financial highlights for Q2 FY22.
Okay. Thank you, Srinivas. Good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to our earnings call. I will take you through the financial and operational highlights, after which we'll open the floor to a question and answer session. Revenue. Our revenue from operations for Q2 FY22 stood at about 91.3 crores, up by about 25% year-on-year. Our revenues for half year financial year 22 stood at about 145.3 crores, up by about 19% year-on-year. The quarterly revenue has been, I think, one of the record revenue for MTAR, and we hope to continue this going forward. With strong order book in hand of 535 crores, we are confident of sustaining the revenue momentum going forward, as we explained. With receipt of a single large order of 220 crores from Bloom Energy, our sector-wise breakup is as under: clean energy 53.4%, space and defense 26.8%, and nuclear 18.8%. The revenue contribution for first half of 22 from clean energy was 85.1 crores. From space and defense it was 28.2 crores, and from nuclear power it was 24.3 crores. Am I clearly audible up to now?
Yeah, please go ahead with your audible, yes.
Thank you. Our gross profit for Q2 financial year 22 stood at 55.4 crores as compared to 43.3 crores in Q2 of financial year 21. It's a growth of 28%. The gross margins for quarter stood at 60.7%, increase of 170 basis points year-on-year. Gross profit over first half of 22 stood at 94.5 crores with a growth of 33.2 crores compared to the first half of 21. Gross margin for quarter half one of FY22 were up by 690 basis points to 65%. EBITDA for Q2 FY22 was at 29.4 crores, up by 22% from 24 crores. EBITDA margin for Q2 FY22 stood at 32.2% as compared to 32.8% in Q2 of FY21. So we have maintained EBITDA. EBITDA for half one stood at 43.9 crores, up by 23.7% from 35.5 crores in half one of 21. EBITDA margins for half one of 22 stood at 30.2%, which is slightly 1 percentage point higher than half one of 21, which was at 29.1%. Our PAT stood at 19.1 crores for Q2 of FY22 and 27.8 crores for half one of FY22. The PAT margins were as high as 19.1% in half one, the growth of 340 basis points. To conclude, we would like to highlight that the increased sustainable margins due to operating leverage layout will significantly improve the return ratios. With this, I open the floor to discussion.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Nitin Arora from Axis Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you, and good morning. So my first question is, just on the ordering side, what you said, on the clean energy part. So the existing order intake, which was there, 200 crores, will that also then get a scale up further, given the demand what Bloom is getting? And second, if you can throw some light, of that incremental 500 megawatt, how much it attributes if one has to look in a value terms, and how much capex you have to do if you have to service that order?
Yeah, good morning, Nitin. So, your first question of the existing order of 220 crores, yes, we have an indication from Bloom that there is going to be an additional requirement of another 1,000 units for this. Roughly around, I would say this 220 can move up to 290 to 300 crores. This indication has already been given for the next calendar year, that is calendar year 22. And the incremental 500 megawatts, this is something which is very interesting because it not only we should look at the aspect of the other products as well. This is for the SOFC units, Yuma units, what we are making. So this translates to about 1,000 units, 10,000 units spread over 3 years. This is going to be the additional incremental requirement based on this new order received by Bloom, which we had a detailed discussion with them. They've asked us to gear up basically on the additional capex required to cater to not only their existing volume, which is growing at 25 to 30% every year, but also to take care of this additional incremental value. They also confirmed that there is no downside to this, but there can be only upside to this number, the incremental number. So we looked at the entire requirement for this. We just received the information recently for us to go ahead. So we already have the infrastructure, the building and everything in place to the space to cater for this. So the approximate capex would require about 25 to 30 crores to. We already have a lot of additional capacity, so there's a bottleneck areas in terms of furnaces and spinning machines, which would probably be roughly between 25 to 30 crores. We are working on those numbers, and this is something which we need to incorporate very quickly over the next 7 to 9 months to cater to the future requirement of Bloom.
This is helpful. Thanks for answering that. Now, the second question is the ordering pipeline in the nuclear part. Can you throw some light which are the large orders where you feel confident, that should eventually get closed in the next 3 to 6 months time frame? If you can help us guide, in which are these orders and in value terms, how big that can be for you. That's the second question. And if you can also throw some light, you explained us that, the working capital going up is a function of I am procuring more materials because what is, one is because of the higher demand, second because of the commodity, the way it's reacting. If this quarter working capital is a function of, again, the procurement of raw material, or which should ideally start getting normalized because now your order backlog is heavy in clean energy, how one should read that working capital part? These are the two questions. Thank you.
Sure, Nitin. See, when it comes to the order pipeline, as clearly said, we'll have as of today, we have 535 crores of order book compared to the last quarter, we were, I think, at 365 plus or something like that. But what we are looking at is the nuclear tenders have already come in for the 3 reactors. We have quoted for that, some of the tenders. A lot more tenders are due to come in. So we are expecting a sizable number of orders being finalized in Q3 and Q4. I think it should happen more in Q4. And we have not considered any of these nuclear orders even in our business plan until the fourth quarter of next year. So we already have enough orders on hand, but these orders will really take the order book to a different level. So over the next 6 months to 9 months, we will get sizable orders from nuclear. A lot of tenders have been already sent out. That's something which is very good. We are quoted for some of the tenders. Some of the tenders we are still on the estimation stage. We have received the tenders. We do have some dates on those deadlines for these tenders, which we are quoting as far as the nuclear is concerned. So nuclear fleet reactor, that is on track as far as we are concerned. Obviously, the first quarter, there was issue of pandemic, so there were certain delays, but ultimately these orders will flow into the company. As far as the space also is concerned, we are expecting sizable orders in this quarter itself and some more in Q4 as well. So overall, if you would like to understand the whole process, so in Q3 and Q4, we would receive sizable orders from nuclear, space and defense as well. And then the next 6 months, the next 2 quarters of the next financial year also, we will receive a lot more orders. So as far as the order book is concerned, we'll be completely booked. As far as the other sectors are also concerned, we are pretty confident about all this because in reality it is actually happening. As far as the working capital is concerned, what is more important here is we all know that there are a lot of pandemic is there. There are a lot of issues in terms of international problems in terms of shipment delays. Shipping lines charging a lot more, transit times have become an issue. So issues are happening in terms of supply chain. So what we have done is, as I said earlier, we ensure that we are to have enough inventory so that we don't get into a situation where our lines are down in our own companies, in our factory. So that's what we have ensured. So we are maintaining enough inventory more than what is required. At this point of time, we'll continue to do that for some time till things stabilize. We are also benefiting in a way that whatever contracts we have signed, we continue to. That's the reason why we are also maintaining the margins. The team has planned very well, where our the purchase prices of various raw materials we have finalized way ahead of time. So we are definitely benefiting indirectly from that, and the holding cost of inventory doesn't really matter compared to the kind of savings that we have there. And also in terms of the availability of inventory to make sure the lines are not down in the factory and we are able to successfully do that.
Thank you for that. I'll come back in the queue for more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Reminder to the participants, to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Renu Baid from IIFL. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, sir. My first question is on the space segment. If you see in the current quarter, you've received almost 25 crores worth of orders in the segment. So if you can help us understand what was the nature of these projects that we have won with the execution timelines. And also, what was the quantum of broadly the revenue run rate in space? Does it continue to be in the similar 10-15 crores, as in the sub 10 crores kind of level? And how are you expecting to close this segment for the year? That's the first question.
Yeah, see, actually, space, we had a detailed discussion with both the VSSC and LPSC directors. I personally went and had a detailed discussion with them. So to begin with, they have said that they'll release all the orders in Q3 and Q4 of this year. And secondly, they said they'll go back to the original plan of the launches what they had before. Prior to the pandemic, they'll start doing that from March and April of next year. So they have asked us to now gear up on that particular part of it. Now, so whatever orders we receive from space, they're, as you said, they're within the 1-year time frame. And now since the launches are going to go back to the original plan, so that's one good news that we'll be back to the original plan prior to the pandemic post-March. Now, apart from that, we also discussed with them about our additional capabilities, which we are coming up with the sheet metal and specialized fabrication, in terms of which I mentioned to all of you about motor casings, light alloy structures, all these areas. They are very much pleased to work with NPR on all these areas to increase their wallet share, and including the modules which we got qualified. That's another area which they said they will go ahead and release the orders since they're going back to the original plan of launches. So the space is definitely back on track, which will give us good results. And as far as the revenues are concerned, as I mentioned before, the new products that we're launching, like semi-cryo engine, that's planned for Q4 of this year. That's an additional increase in our wallet share that we'll be doing, launching the new semi-cryo engine and also the modules. And the new capabilities will be in terms of the motor casings and light alloy structures as well. So if you look at the short-term and the long-term perspective, yes, there will be a growth of space. It should be back on track for next year, and that's something which will help the company a lot.
Right. I think we have started seeing volume to increase. Margins also are picking up, but the mix largely remains skewed towards clean energy in terms of portfolio and orders. So where are we on track with respect to the 34%, 35% margins that we were guiding for the year? Do we perceive potential risk there because of change in the mix, or you think that can be made up in the second half of the year?
As we have seen even in the last year, normally we have a lot of projects which are in work in progress in all this defense space and nuclear sectors right now, which will get materialized over the next 2 quarters. So obviously we will maintain our margins. We have always said that. And normally the principle of MTAR is we always take up projects where our margins are maintained because we are in the niche area. So we are at about 31.5%, 32% right now. So we should improve upon 2 percentage basis points over the next 2 quarters, and we'll end up with similar margins what we have committed earlier.
Sure. And just a small clarification on the Bloom projects which you mentioned of coming in from Korean market, 500 megawatt. These would be all for the Yuma range of hot boxes, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's all Yuma hot boxes. They have confirmed to me very clearly. This order is for the 10,000 units, is basically the Yuma units what we are making right now. So what they've also said that is this is SOFC, and if there is no downside to this, there will only be an upside. And the other part of it, SOEC, like electrolyzers, hydrogen, is something which they're working on, and we can expect some similar things happening in the other products as well.
Right. So if you can just help us with some updates on, where are we with respect to the hydrogen boxes and the electrolyzers in terms of moving from the prototypes to developmental and then finally to production orders coming through. So where are we in terms of pipeline? Are we expecting orders to come by next second half of the next calendar year, or related updates would be helpful?
We are actually done with our hydrogen units qualification. It's all through. The batch production and the prototype is through. Now we are waiting for the next level of the ramp up, the volume production. So that's what Bloom has also confirmed to us, that they're working with the customers to ramp it up in a big way. So that's something which will happen hopefully by end of this year, financial year, and which I've always maintained either it's the end of this year or first quarter of next year. So we'll expect a similar kind of, hopefully, the ramp up of hydrogen units happening. The electrolyzers, the initial prototypes have been approved. Now they're working on the cycle of batch production right now, and there'll be a lag of about 3 months to 6 months between the hydrogen units and the electrolyzers, or even earlier than that. Both can go together, so that's what they're planning. So let's hope that it should happen by end of this year or beginning of next year.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, very good morning, Srinivas sir, and congratulations on great set of numbers.
Thanks.
So first question is again on this SK Eco Plant tie-up with Bloom Energy. So you mentioned that in the previous call, the order next year that you will be servicing will be close to 3,500 boxes, of which roughly 600-700 would be Kiloco and balance would be Yuma, around 2,800 to 2,900. Their contract mentions delivery will be between 22 to 24. So how much do you think this 2,900 boxes volume can go up by for FY23 delivery?
See, we don't have much clarity on that. The team from Bloom actually is coming, the senior team is coming to NTR on second week of November. But what they've already indicated is that we have about 3,100 units right now with the existing order for the next calendar year, which they said to. They've already confirmed to us that there'll be an increase in volume by another 1,000 units, so that will go up to about 4,000 and odd units. And subsequent to that, the new order what they have received, those numbers, they have already indicated that we also have to gear up to that volume. So probably part of this 1,000 numbers are going towards that, and the rest is being planned for the calendar year 23, 24, and 25, or slightly before that. So they've asked us to gear up on the capacities very quickly. They've given us about 7 to 8 months time. So once we do that, because we're looking at almost like 7,000 to 8,000 units, it's actually doubling of the number, literally in Yuma units. So we're already working on it, and once we do that, then we should be through with this.
Okay. So annually, which we were targeting, say, between 2,500 to 3,000 units, can realistically be between 4,000 to 4,500 units. If, again,
No.
to discussion, but is that the right understanding?
No, it's not that. See, the normal growth what we're looking at, this year we're doing 2,500, let's say next year it was 3,100. But now it is going up to 4,000. Okay? But these additional units, the new order 500 megawatts, translates to over 3 years to 3,500 box units per year. So literally this is going to be the additional number which will add to the regular requirement of Bloom. So technically you're looking at almost like 7,000 units per year from the calendar year 23 onwards.
Yeah, so the clarification over there is that we normally have a 50% share, as you had explained earlier to us. So this 4,000 additional should be 2,000 additional for for MTAR. Is that right? Or we are looking at a higher market share?
Sandeep, our share has gone up to 80% right now. So that's what it is. And this additional order, they were indicating they might give the entire order to MTR. The clarification will have by second week of November.
Okay. All right. Second question, sir, is on this hydrogen plants in India, which is infrastructure which is going to get built up, and also in other countries where we had stated that we are in discussions with various new customers. So if you can highlight what is the progress, what is the likelihood of converting some more customers in addition to Bloom to diversify our client base, and probably what can be the timelines that we can look forward to.
No, as I said earlier, Sandeep, definitely we are in touch. We are exchanging emails, talking to them on Zoom, and mostly they are having some. They are planning to visit. Ultimately, they have to visit the plant also for qualification purpose. So we are in touch with a couple of companies in US. I can't disclose right now, but yes, definitely we are doing that. We have the core capability. What we want to do is we want to ensure that today we are in a position where we need to be very sensitive in terms of with whom we are going to add our customers, the list of customers, because we need to do a good job with any customer. We strongly believe in that on day one itself. And already our plate is literally very full right now, but we are still working on good customers to bring into the range of NTR where we can work with them with our facilities. And we'll have a good set of customers as in our basket during the second half. Yes. We did add a few customers. A lot of FAs are being done in the aerospace business, defense business. So similarly in clean energy also we'll be adding a lot more customers during the second half of the year. But it's a process by itself, and it will definitely happen because they also are well aware of our capabilities now, and that's something which is very good. So we'll definitely go in a very strategic and progressive way in adding more and more customers into our portfolio.
Understood. And last question is on the realization. How do you expect these realizations to move forward in the clean energy part, which was close to, say, between $9,500 to $10,000 a unit? With this sharp increase in the overall number of boxes, where do you expect it to go down? What should we assume as the annual decline rate, if I were to put it that way?
No, I don't think there is an issue with realization. See, as I told you earlier, if at all, we have done a lot of innovative things for Bloom in terms of, ultimately, it should be cost effective for Bloom, and also we have to maintain our own margin. So we have done a lot of work in terms of converting a lot of imports into in-house manufacturing. So that benefited Bloom and us also in terms of maintaining our margins. Like, for example, now we are going to convert the import of bellows into in-house manufacturing, where we are importing from US. So that's something which we are working on right now to get qualified in a 3 months time from now. So a lot of such innovative things that we are doing so that we are very cost effective, and also at the same time our policy is to maintain our margins in spite of the volumes going up. This is not a buyer and seller kind of a situation. It's a clear partnership. We have benefited Bloom in a long, big way in terms of various innovations and cost reductions that we have done through import substitutes. So that portion of the business, that portion of R&D will continue to happen, whether it is Yuma or whether it is Kelaco or hydrogen or electrolyzers. We continue to do that so that it's a mutual beneficial relationship, and it helps them and helps us also to maintain our margins. So we'll continue to do that, Sandeep.
Got it, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Deepak Narnolia from Birla Sun Life. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Sir, good morning. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir. And congratulations for a very strong set of numbers. And I just, pardon me, I am repeating the question actually. I wanted to understand this volume uptick from this SEA Energy expected order. So, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, last year you did, sir, 1,400 boxes in FY 21, and 22 we are expecting somewhere around 2,000 to 2,100 boxes, and 23 somewhere around 3,000. And then now this new order, expected order, can add up somewhere around 1,000 volumes in FY 22. That's what you are saying?
No, what I've said is, as we have seen that we have received an order for 3,100 roughly boxes for 220 crores last quarter, right? So that's for 3,100 boxes for the calendar year 2022. That's the financial year 22-23 for us. So there will be an upside of another 1,000 units, which the indication was given to us, and it might move up to 4,000 and odd boxes. Okay, for the next year.
So total boxes can move up to 4,000 boxes in FY 23, correct?
That's right. And then the surge of requirement due to the new order of 500 megawatts, that translates to another 3,500 boxes per year, let's say 3,000 units per year. And that 3,000 units will be in addition to this volume requirement of Bloom over the next subsequent years, 24, 25 like that. That's how it's going to be.
So in addition to the 4,000 volume, this new order can add up somewhere around 3,000 volume further FY 24 onwards, correct? So you can deliver somewhere around 6,000 to 7,000 boxes in FY 24. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely right.
That's huge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to ask a question, please press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Santosh from Asian Market Securities. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. A couple of clarifications I had first. Sir, you just mentioned some time back that in 7 to 8 months' time, we have to set up the new line. Is that right, sir?
Yeah. See, the idea behind the whole thing is that we already have the infrastructure in place. So we always think slightly ahead of time. We don't want to have any last-minute hiccups. So normally the time frame obviously we require is now, even if it's 4,000 units, for next year we still have that kind of capacity to handle it. But doubling that, obviously we need to add, as I said, a capex of 25 to 30 crores. So we have time of up to 9 months. So that's where we're looking at.
So I'm just trying to understand what would the new line capacity be turning out to be on double shift basis?
The new line capacity will almost cater to double of the existing capacity what we have. Because we already have certain capacities which can cater to even the double the capacity what we can do, but certain bottleneck areas we have to fill up, like furnaces and all that. You must have seen that from this. So those furnaces we have to add, and probably on the spinning side we have to add a machine, and that's all we can do because we already have the building in place for all this.
Sir, what would be the capex for FY22, sir? Total capex that you are targeting?
For this year?
Yes, sir. For FY22, yes, sir.
FY22, we are working on the sheet metal and the fabrication side, right? Which I said earlier also, between about 80 to 100 crores.
I'm sorry, sir. How much, sir? 18 to?
It's around 80 crores. So might be closing to about 100 crores. The total capex for the new capabilities that we're adding in Abu Dhabi.
Right. So we won't incur any capex for this new line in this financial year?
No, by the time we place the orders and the equipment comes in, obviously it will happen in the next financial year, right? Beginning of next one, not right now. We have time for that, right? We have 1 year's time for that. So by the time we finalize the machines, the furnaces, and the furnace delivery time is about 6 to 7 months and so by the time the equipment comes in, it will be in the next financial year.
So, sir, is it fair to say that even if any new opportunity is coming, our capacities we are almost at 80-85% kind of capacity. Any new order comes in, that is getting deferred or delayed because we don't have the capacities, or it is going to the competition. How is it playing out, sir?
We have enough capacity. I said in all the sectors we have capacity of even more, 3 times what we can produce. Even in the clean energy sector, we are producing like this year 2,000 and odd boxes. We can go up to 4,000 boxes with the existing capacity itself. So that is something, the upsurge has happened suddenly, and now they're looking at 3,000 instead of 3,000 and odd, they're looking at 4,000 right now, which we can handle very comfortably. So that is way above the number. Even that can be handled by MTR without any additional capex. But from that, if you're looking at doubling that number from 4,000 to 7,000 and 8,000, obviously we need to add a few bottleneck machines, which we will do next year.
Sir, and for the new line, what would be the manpower addition we are planning to have, sir?
Most manpower addition is most on the welding part of the site.
Right.
Whatever welding manpower we require, we take the idea training much ahead of time and train them and do it, so that estimations are going on. So that will happen only after the next. We normally think that is the picture of 4 to 5 months before we get up to the next level of production. So we'll probably invest in about 6 months ahead of time.
So, sir, is it fair to say that for the Adipatla plant, we already have added the manpower, and that is also one of the reasons why we are seeing a surge in the manpower costs for the quarter?
Absolutely. It's not only that, I strongly believe in investing in the right people in the company, creating the right team. So as you have seen, we have got in our supply chain right now. We're going to get a business development head in the next couple of months. We already started recruiting for the Adipatla plants ahead of time, so they're involved in the project from day one. So these are all the investments we are doing which is very critical for any company to have the right people in place. So we are investing in that, which is good for the future. So that's exactly what you said is absolutely right.
And sir, lastly, with your permission, I'm just trying to add the dots for the timelines of FY22 and 23. Assuming the current working capital scenario remains the same, and the capex that we're planning to incur, how would we fund the upcoming round of capex? That is what I'm somewhat concerned. Yeah, post Tati, but for the new line I'm talking about, sir.
No, which CapEx are you talking about, Santosh?
I'm talking about the new line, sir.
Which one?
New hot box line, sir, that you are proposing. The Bloom is
No,
proposed.
that is hardly 25-30 crores, Santosh. That's not an issue for the company. We have enough cash with us, or we can even take a term loan. That's not a problem at all.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Poddar from HDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for taking my question and congratulations on strong set of numbers. Sir, regarding the roller screws and electromechanical actuators, if you could, help us understand what is the potential market in India and what market size we are trying to capture ourselves in the next 2 to 3 years.
See, like I've explained this. So, anyway, good morning, Abhishek. So basically, this roller screws is a 100% import substitute. The problem here is, because of Atmanirbhar, the government is insisting all the organizations to stop importing either it's roller screws or electromechanical actuators. We're working on all these new products. So we started taking up the development of roller screws almost like 1.5 years back, and now we have actually got qualified for sales, and they are releasing their first trial order. And secondly, with defense, it's got an additional coating on the roller screws. It's called molybdenum coating, which they have the equipment. And if we have to buy it, it will cost us about 1 crore rupees. But DRDA was fair enough to say that we will work with you and provide the molybdenum coating to develop these roller screws. That's why the qualification is slightly delayed, but in this quarter it will be done. Now, what is the market size? Obviously, once in space, defense, and all these areas are qualified, obviously the overall market size, what we estimated was about 70 to 80 crores. So over the next 2-3 years, this one product will generate a lot of good revenue for us. And we are today I can proudly say that as we have received the award for the Boston from the Defense Ministry recently, now we can say that we have developed the roller screws and we are qualified with space, and we'll also get qualified with defense in this quarter, and then we are through with our regular production after that. Now, this roller screw also goes into part of the assembly plan for the electromechanical actuators. Now, the electromechanical actuators, we have received the trial order already for 1.3 crores. That's another import substitute. In that, the roller screw will also be part of the assembly. Now, we'll be using our own roller screws in these electromechanical actuators, which is another new product, instead of importing the roller screws. So that's in a kind of an advanced stage we are in today. And all this will definitely give us a lot of benefit in terms of exclusive products over the next 2-3 years, definitely yes.
Right. And so actuators, what could be the total purchase in India today?
I've received information that around 70 to 80 crores in terms of roller screws, and electromechanical actuators is about close to 400 crores over the next 3 to 4 years. That's what
right. And can we capture a large part of this 400 crores also, or that product is entirely different or is somewhat different than what we are manufacturing, the entire 400 crores?
I don't think we can do the entire 400 crores to begin with. See, right now, we got the first trial order. Once we are very confident of executing the trial order, because even electromechanical actuators, we have already developed it. So once we execute the trial order, then we go in a staged manner, because they have to get the confidence. Once they get the confidence, then we see how much we can really take the pie out of the whole thing.
Okay, understood.
And we're also very much interested to take the maximum pie, Abhishek. There's no doubt about it. We'll work towards that.
Okay, understood, sir. Sir, and the hydrogen plant and electrolyzers, I understand from your comment that, we are in the qualification stage. But, given what we know, if we have to look at next 2 to 3 years of trajectory, how you are seeing this business growing?
See, as I mentioned earlier, the hydrogen electrolyzers will be a real big vertical for MTAR in the future. It's only we have already developed the product. We've done the batch production. So as I mentioned earlier in our call that mostly by end of this year or beginning of next year, we'll see some kind of ramp up happening on the hydrogen vertical as well. Yeah, because we have proven the product already. Electrolyzers also, we have done the prototypes, we have tested, they are definitely fine. So we have to move into the batch production. So there is a lag of about 3 months to 6 months between these two verticals. But that's going to be a real big ramp up again. So we are working on the planning for that as well.
Right. So, for example, when we are saying that we can do 6 to 7,000 units of hot boxes in next 2 to 3 years, can the volumes of hydrogen boxes and electrolyzers mirror something like that, or to begin with it will be much lower and then we will see around?
No, if that ramps up, it will be similar to what SOFC are doing.
Okay, understood.
It's not ramp up to 7,000, but probably but it will ramp up very quickly compared to even SOFC, because that's what the world wants right now.
Right. And the per unit value of these will be higher than the hot boxes?
Yeah, slightly higher. It depends. We keep on innovating on that stuff, but definitely slightly higher than the hot box units.
Understood. And so just one last question from my side. On the margins, we have seen that the gross profits are under pressure probably because of the commodity prices. So is it possible if gross profit recovers, your margins could be better than what 34% you have been guiding us before?
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier, because our margins, even if you look at our last year, quarter on quarter, we always kept improving. And we do a lot of projects which are slightly longer cycle, which are on the work in progress right now. So a lot of numbers will add in, and we'll get back to our level of margins what we promised at the beginning of the year. That's not the issue.
Okay, understood. So thank you. All the best to you.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhavin Vithlani from SBI Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Srinivas, and congratulations for good set of numbers.
Thank you, Bhavin. How are you?
All good. Hope same at your end as well.
Thank you. Yeah.
The question again is on the nuclear side. So we had highlighted about 400 odd crores per reactor and 4 reactors expected. Any timelines that you could help us with, because you already have submitted tenders?
Yeah, absolutely. Bhavan, what is happening is the Nuclear Corporation of India has started working now very aggressively in the last 1-2 months. So obviously the first quarter there was an issue, the second quarter, middle of second quarter onwards, things are moving very fast right now. So we're quoted for quite a few tenders. A lot of tenders are coming in. So we're quoting for a lot more tenders in this November month and December month. So for sure that all these orders will get crystallized over the next 6 months to 9 months is what we're looking at, and some will spill over to the next 3 months as well. So the next 12 months we'll get sizable amount of orders, some during this year and some during first half of next year for sure. And we are quoting for these orders. So once the tenders are ready, obviously it's happening. So that's where we stand right now.
Sure. Would there be a period, maybe let's say 3 to 4 quarters, where we could see a dip in revenue execution for nuclear because there is a timeline of execution and then it ramps up?
We will not have that, because you're absolutely right. In the past, we used to have that when there was only 2 reactors at a time. Now, since it's the 3 reactors, we already have existing orders on hand, and since the 3 reactor, we have enough on our plate to really ramp up year-on-year basis to execute all these orders. So there will not be any kind of dip in revenue on nuclear. I don't see that happening.
Sure. And the question, next question is on the defense, where we have been working with some of the international OEMs in Israel, like Rafael. We had smaller orders in the initial phase. So are we seeing any inquiries from there that we could make those as a sizable proportion of the business going forward?
Absolutely. See, there was a kind of a pause in that for the last 6 months because of pandemic, but in this particular Q2 itself, we have received orders from major projects for them, which we are hearing the first articles in this quarter. Once we do that, we're expecting a very big order from Rafael for that. And Elbit also RFQs now, so we're working on it. So we can see a real surge in the volumes in the MNC business in defense sector for exports for next year for sure.
Sure. On an annualized basis, how large could the opportunity be for us once we are getting these orders?
Basically, it depends on the volumes what we are looking at, but right now what Rafael has indicated is about 40-50 crores in first articles what they're looking at for next year. We can say about conservatively 40 crores, but they're going to give a lot more RFQs over the next 2 quarters. So that's looking really promising. But the best part of the whole thing is even IAI, which the NATCAP certificate what we have received recently. So they have taken it very positively because that's a prerequisite to get into the aerospace business of IAI. So even we are working with them right now because we got the certification. So a lot of things are happening in that front, but you can see all those things, the real chunk of this business really reflecting in next year without any issue.
Sure. Thank you so much for taking my questions.
Yes.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraints, that was the last question for today. I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Srinivas Reddy for closing comments.
I would like to thank all of you and would like to wish a very happy Diwali to all of you and your family members. So I just like to mention that the addition of all our newer products in our product portfolio, growing demand from the end user sector, growth opportunities on the domestic and export front, and our long-standing relations with customers, we believe we are well positioned to capitalize on these opportunities. And I would like to once again thank everyone for joining us. And I hope we have been able to answer all your queries. In case you require any further details, you may please contact us or Orient Capital, our investor relations partners. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of MTAR Technologies Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.